Thanks for coming out. First wrapping up the Toledo game. Great football game with a disappointing result. Certainly a credit to Toledo. They've got an excellent football team this year. And they made the plays at the end that they needed to win the game. From our standpoint, it's certainly tough despite anybody. A 21-point lead. Certainly a team as talented as Toledo. I love the heart and the determination of our football team to come back. I think we showed a lot of guts and courage to come back, and we put ourselves in a position to win. The bottom line, though, is we have them 3rd and 26 with the #1 defense in the conference, and you got to find a way to win those games. And again, credit to them. Owens made a great scramble, made us miss. Got 17 yards on that play, and then on 4th down, threw a strike with a guy in his face. But again, that doesn't change how I feel about our football team. I believe we have a very good football team this year. We need to bounce back. We still have a lot to play for. Certainly one of our goals every year is to get into November with a chance to win the MAC East and to win the MAC. Those goals are still in front of us. This is the 2nd year in a row that we're one of 3 teams that's in that position. Hopefully we learned something from the experience last year. And again, our goals are in front of us, and it's back to making it a one-week season. And right now we're in the Miami season. Obviously, they've struggled this year. I think when you watch a team that's 0-8, you pick out the best things they do and say if they put this game together, they can certainly present problems. Their offensive scheme is very challenging because they've done so many different things. Since Coach Bath has taken over, they've really kind of changed the direction of the offense back to a little bit more of a traditional attack, but they still run some of the option stuff and the speed sweep and the power read stuff that they've been running before. Their quarterback is down, so we're not quite sure what we're going to see. They have 2 other quarterbacks they play that both have little different skill sets, but they're both athletic. Defensively, it's a lot of the guys we played against a year ago. I think their defensive line is talented. The one tackle, Brown, if he plays, is one of the very best tackles in the conference. Their ends can rush the passer, and they do some things up front that are tough to prepare for in a week. So, again, this week the focus is just moving forward and getting ready for Miami, and I know we'll get their best. We're in another big rivalry game for us. And this is a very important game for our program.
Emotionally, you sound fine, but how's the team following that loss?
We'll be fine. I'll say this about this football team, that I think if you look at the last 2 years, our guys always show up and play and give effort. They really do. And again, that was a tough locker room to be in, but that's football. You play against a good team, and you go out and you give it everything you have. And if you win the game, it's the highest of highs. If you lose a game like that, it's the lowest of lows. So I'm sure there's not too many people within our whole program that got a lot of sleep Saturday night or Sunday night or even Monday night. But we're now within a week of another game, and you got to move forward. And like I said, we still have everything to play for. When the season starts, we have one primary goal, and that's to win the MAC conference. And that goal is still alive and well, and we've got to keep it alive for another week, and that's why this game is critical. We can't take a second loss in conference, and all these games count the same, and this is the only one this week that matters.
Has it been difficult getting guys' attention? If you look at Miami and look in the standings, you see and whatever it is. Has it been tough getting their attention?
No, because of what our goals are. This game isn't about Miami. This game is about Bowling Green getting back, and we got to go down there and play well in a conference game against, again, another rival team, because we have our goals. And so I think whenever you play, if you focus on what the other team does, you're missing the big picture, that we've got to play good Bowling Green football. We can't beat ourselves on offense. We can't drop passes. We can't have procedures. We can't beat ourselves. On defense, we've got to play those are the reasons you don't win close football games. And so those are the things we got to get corrected. Again, we're working hard at it, and I believe we'll get them corrected. And if we do that, we expect to win a bunch more games this year. But there's a reason you win and there's a reason you lose. And we made some really critical mistakes in that game Saturday that doesn't allow you to beat a good football team. Okay, and those are things we got to get cleaned up. And I don't care who you play, if you make what I call unforced errors. Some of the things that we did, credit to Toledo. Some of the things we didn't execute, or some of the plays they made, is because they're a good football team. Their record is their record, and they've been one of the best programs in the MAC conference for the last 3 or 4 years. But there's things that we did in that game that it didn't matter who you played; those are going to hurt you. We dropped some critical passes. We had some critical penalties, and those things have nothing to do with the opponent. And so, to me, our focus is those are the things we've got to get cleaned up, so those things don't beat us in the future. Because again, we've got it's a 4-game season, and every time you get the job done one week, it makes the next one the next biggest game. So in this conference, the only good thing about the loss, and there's never a good thing about the loss, but it's to a team in the West. An Eastern Conference loss is a lot tougher to bounce back from. So because Toledo's in the West, we still control our fortune, as does Ohio and Buffalo in the East. I'm sure all 3 coaches in all 3 locker rooms are saying the same thing. We control our destiny because all 3 teams are still in it. All 3 teams have to play each other. But those games don't become big games unless you take care of your next one. So, we want those games to be with a lot riding on it, but that won't be the case unless we play well this week against Miami. So our focus has to be all in on Miami, and again, clean up in practice and make sure we're continuing to improve as a program.
How do these midweek games affect the routine?
Well, it's been 5 years here, and every year we play these games, I get that question every year. It's the same stock answer. It's different. We always make the game day Saturday, and then you work back. I think the other thing tricky for us is we don't play a lot of night games, and we're a morning practice team. We practice in the mornings, and so the challenge is, the way our schedule is most of our coaches and hopefully at least half of our players, are asleep by the time the 4th quarter starts in this game. So what we have to do is adjust our body clock a little bit. We are going to practice Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and we just got to get our players on more of a night routine going into this game. And so what you do is you just say Tuesday, Saturday, and you back it up. Today, and again, we have more time to get ready for this game. So we get 2 Tuesday practices, 1 Wednesday, a Thursday, and then we're back in a groove. So we'll practice at night, late afternoon. We usually don't do that.
What about the loss of Gabe Martin, then arguably one of your better defensive players? You have people to replace him, but just the loss of him not being able to play.
Well, my heart is broken for Gabe. You're talking about one of the best football players on our team, one of the hardest workers, one of the best leaders. We love Gabe Martin. Gabe Martin stands for everything that we want represented in our program. He's a good student. He's a hard worker. He's a good leader. He cares about our program. And so when a player of that caliber and that type of character gets hurt, you feel terrible for him. But yeah, that's a significant loss. That is one of the best players on our football team. But I've said this before, that's football. You rarely go through a season that you keep everybody healthy. Some years you're lucky and you keep guys healthy and you start the same people. And some years you get some of those breaks that don't go your way. But that's why you recruit. We have have other players that are certainly capable of doing the job. Are they as talented and gifted and dynamic as Gabe? No. Gabe Martin's a special player for us. If we had 22 Gabe Martins, we would never have a game come down to the fourth quarter. But again, it is what it is. And we have other good players. Justin Ford has played well when he's had an opportunity this year. Brian Sutton will play more. Jude Barima plays that position. And I think 3 years ago in our program, you lose your starting rover and you'd fall off a cliff. And I think now we have other good players that we can play winning football with. So, that can never be an excuse to have a guy injured to not play good football. And I like the other guys we have at that position, and I believe in them, and they're more than capable of going out there and playing winning football for us.
A couple years ago, you had Boo Boo playing that position. Is there thought to moving him back there?
No, I mean, the problem, John, is we're so thin at safety. Pettis hasn't been healthy. We have not, just between what happened at corner and moving Aaron Foster out there, it's really thinned us up inside. And Boo Boo's an all-conference safety. To be honest with you, Boo Boo, rover is one of the easier positions to play in our defense. It's one of the easier ones to learn. The reads are not as complicated as a high safety. And so you would never, you would never take a tailback that had 1,000 yards and then make them a blocking fullback. And a little bit that there's different things we can do at rover to maybe protect the position a little bit. As a high safety, that position has to do a lot of things in our defense, and Boo Boo's one of the best. So could he play it? Yes. That move just doesn't make sense for us right now, and we have other guys that are capable of doing it and playing, again, winning football for us. But we're thinner there than we'd like to be, certainly thinner than we were a year ago. And Isaiah Gordine might also get some reps in there. We've been putting him as a rover. So, and again, it's...
Excuse me for interrupting. You're saying that you may use Gordine as a rover rather than at safety. That's what he's been getting reps at.
Yeah, we've been getting him. He's been getting some rover reps for us. In the bye, that's the good thing about the bye weeks is you get some of those younger guys in there. And so Isaiah Gordine is being trained as a rover. And again, Brian Sutton has played both safety positions, rover, inside linebacker in our dime package. We've trained him at corner. He's a smart player. He's capable of playing a lot of spots. He initially last year was Gabe's backup at that position. So he certainly can kick out there, and he knows the position well, and he'll get lined up, and he's really improved. I tell you, Brian Sutton, very quietly has become a really good football player for us. He is tackling in space better. He's always been a very good special teams player, but Brian Sutton has really raised the level of his game this year. And so again, you hate losing Gabe for all the reasons I said earlier, but it's a good sign in your program that you're developing other players that are capable of going out there and giving you good snaps. And Justin Ford will do it, Jude will do it, and Sutton will do it.
One more about Gordine. Is his future at safety, though, rather than a rover?
It's hard to tell. He's a true freshman. You never know with those guys where the weight room's going to take them. He is a tall, lean, athletic safety who can run. I think Coach Horgan does a phenomenal job at our strength program, so I'm not going to be shocked at all if he's 230 pounds in a year, and then the bigger you get. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to recruit corners that, if they grow, can become safeties. Jude is an example of that. You can recruit safeties that can go down and become rovers. Certainly Jude, Sutton, maybe Gordine fits that mold. There's certainly rovers that can move in and play linebackers who can play defensive end. So again, if you recruit good football players, you never know what's going to happen to their bodies and their development once you get them in the program. And then, we always say the O-line is the last bus stop. So, the ends become tackles. Tackles move to O-line. If they don't get it done as an O-line, then you made a mistake. That was Bears next time.